Hi and welcome to episode 6 of season 3 of A Brief History of Nothing. I'm not in fact Ray.
I'm not in fact James, but I have the more handsome one.
And he's the delusional one. Right.
Okay, tonight's subject. Uber. James's favourite subject.
Yes.
Yes. Ubering in Victoria, the state of Australia, is a no-no.
According to a judge that has decided that Ubering is no-no. I mean, technically, driving for Uber because you don't, unless you have like a taxi, like, doing it in like a taxi or a limousine or whatever, it is illegal. Because you don't have the proper licensing, insurance, etc.
Oh, so I can Uber in my little 121.
You're a little
Metro.
Little Metro is actually slightly too old. They only accept cars up to 10 years old.
Damn. I'll have to get a Mazda 2. Yes.
And then I will take a picture of your number plate and go, here, Department of Transport, this dude.
Yep, he's doing it in his tube.
Okay then.
Right.
Yes, being as I'm a cab driver, yes, I find Uber annoying. Yes. Yes. Now, this is an interesting one. A guy by the name of, he was, I've forgotten his name, but he was the manager, used to be the manager for a little-known rock band called Split Enz. You may have heard of them. He got done. He was meant to pay a $900 fine plus the prosecution's legal costs.
Ouch.
Yeah, and Uber find that disappointing.
I bet he found it disappointing too.
I mean, we're talking about a company that's now pushing $70 billion in that's worth that much money.
Yeah.
And, a $900 fine plus legal costs is...
a couple of grand. Okay.
Who cares? So now, yes. And so now, Victorian Government, I wish the Queensland Government to do something.
Yes.
But it's becoming a bit of a bureaucratic nightmare.
Yes, yes. But so why did he get the fine? Because
the taxi authority down there, that part of their Department of Transport in Victoria, Taxi Services Commission or something, I can't, again, they were doing basically an undercover sting. There's him, he's been done, and there's other court cases in, obviously we can't comment on them, but there are other cases in
But what's the specific charge? What, they had to be charged with something?
Driving a hire car without a licence.
Right.
Essentially.
Yeah, it's not a ride share.
It's a
taxi service. It's not a ride share.
It's not. And
a ride share is when you ring up your mate Fred and go, Fred, I'm going to the city today. Do you want to come for a ride with me? Yeah, I'll go for a ride. And you share a ride into the city. That's a ride share.
That's a ride share. Or when you know someone else is going in the similar direction, you both get in a cab. I've picked people up and someone says, oh, I'm going to this suburb. Where are you going? Oh, this suburb. Oh, well, that's slightly down the road for me. Let's, you want to share a cab. That's fine, I can do that,
Yeah.
As long as everyone's consenting. That's ride sharing.
Yep. So, yeah, Uber is not ride sharing. Uber is a taxi under a different name.
Yeah. And
now they're being caught out. And the problem is that they're going to pick on the drivers.
Yes.
And look, I know of quite a few drivers in Brisbane, where we are, that were retrenched public servants. And because they're more mature, they're finding it difficult to get jobs. So they've turned to just make a living. So it's a double-edged sword. You really don't ban Uber, but make Uber have to comply with the same regulations as taxi drivers, and of course that will then...
They'll basically collapse under their own weight.
Yes, that's exactly what will happen. But the problem is that all the drivers that hope to make a living from this are gonna
suffer. Well, they're suffering now.
Yeah, well,
particularly in Perth, here in Brisbane and in Perth. There's just so many of them they can't make a living.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And because they get suckered in. Where they're like, oh, we'll promise you the Earth and Venus just to throw in Venus just for gigs, and yeah, then they go, oh, I can't make a living. I'm not earning enough.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yes, but what do you do? Yeah, but I don't think picking on the drivers per se.
I don't think picking on the drivers is the way to go. I think...
Yeah, for Uber, like you said earlier, that would be like death by 1,000 paper cuts, taking the drivers out.
Yeah. Because, I mean, what's in Queensland, I think it's about $2,000. Because you get stung for operating an illegal cab service, you've also got stung for not having cameras in a public service vehicle, public transport vehicle.
Yeah.
So that adds up to about $2,000, which again, even $2,000 for Uber is like whatever.
Yeah, for Uber it is, but for the driver it isn't.
Yeah, but Uber pays the fine.
Yeah, I'll bet you if they copped a few of them, they wouldn't be.
Oh, most likely.
Because Uber has a history of going, not my problem.
Yeah, there's actually a couple of cases, actually. One in Toronto. There's a guy, and I don't know if I've covered this before on the show, but there was a guy in Toronto who was an Uber driver. He picked up a passenger, he was driving along and had an accident that wasn't actually his fault. Someone actually ran a red light and collided into him and T-boned him. And both he and his passenger had to be taken to hospital. But because he only had his private insurance, not covered. Even though Uber looked at it and went, oh yeah, no, everything's sweet, everything's good, yada yada yada. No. So because his insurance was voided, then Uber turned around and said, well, you're not insured, so we're not covering you either. Because Uber supposedly have this $1 million liability cover.
Yeah. No.
But it's, yeah, no.
There would be so many why-fors, wherefores, how-fors, who-fors and what-fors on that thing.
Yeah, the amount of flaming hoops you've got to jump through.
Yes. And you'll end up scorched at the other end.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, it's... I don't know what the answer is. I understand why the public wants to save money.
Yeah.
I mean, we all want to save money. Well, you know, none of us like giving money away. But the regulations are there for a reason. The cab drivers have to abide by the regulations.
Yeah.
Therefore, there are costs involved in this that have to be passed on.
Yeah. And again, look, the cab industry is far from perfect. And there are cab drivers that are, you know, less than...
Yeah.
But look, again, there are a lot of problems with the cab industry, but you can make complaints. Like, that's what, you know...
There are laws and regulations
involved
to back you up.
And
yes.
Again, you can just make... you can either call the company or most cab companies have on their website a way to make a complaint if there's a problem. So, again guys, you know, be careful. Know what you're signing up for when you're going to drive for Uber or you want to get an Uber ride. Make sure you know the terms and conditions. Read them.
Yeah.
Because if something goes wrong, guess whose head it's going to be on.
Yes, exactly right. Because if Uber can walk away, they will.
They will, yeah.
Yeah.
And the same with Lyft. Lyft is going, oh, should we get into Australia? Yes, no, but it's the same. Same thing.
Same thing. And, yeah, it's pretty much a no-win situation.
Yeah.
Because what Uber will do once they get, and like they've done in Brisbane, and you say in Perth, they've signed up every driver they can get their little hands on, and now nobody's making any money.
Mm. So. Yeah, and also, I mean, my weekends are about $100 less than what they used to be, at least. So,
you know, yeah, it's a no-win situation. I feel sorry for the drivers in a lot of cases because they're you know, people who have struggling to get jobs elsewhere. I mean, there are people who have gone into this thinking they'll make a fortune.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of mature age people who have gone into this just trying to make a living. Mm-hmm. And they're going to get burnt, and they're the ones I feel sorry for.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We've Ubered enough.
Yes. We've been Uber annoying to Uber.
Mm. Okay. Yes. Now, on this day.
On this day.
On the 8th of the 12th, 1915. No, we'll try again. 8th of the 12th, 2015. I look pretty damn good for 160.
Yes. Yeah, somehow that's a quantum computer behind me and...
Okay. In 1881, a theatre in Vienna burnt down with the loss of hundreds of lives.
Unfortunate.
Yes, in 1914, the Battle of the Falkland Islands. Pretty much well, it's the second major engagement of World War I. Graf Spray's cruiser squadron dealt with 2 elderly British cruisers at the Battle of Coronel, and then so the British sent 2 big battle cruisers down with their attending ships to sort them out. The biggest guns the German cruisers mounted were 9.2s, and the British battle cruisers mounted 12-inch guns. So that wasn't a one that the Germans were going to know. But a side shoot to that was that the Emden was a member of the German squadron, and she came up against HMAS Sydney in World War I, and basically Sydney, after a protracted battle, blew her out of the water. Yes, but yes, so on this day, the Battle of the Falkland Islands took place.
And another unfortunate event, the United States declares war on Japan, because when you go on board a country's naval base, they tend to, you're not currently fighting, they tend to take offence to it.
Yeah, they do, but there has always been a persistent rumour that the British knew that this was on, and told the Americans, and the Americans moved all the new stuff out, all the new ships and modern stuff out, and left only the older ships in Pearl Harbor.
There's always going to be conspiracy theories surrounding it, like 9/11. Oh, they knew what's going to happen, they had intelligence. But with those kinds of situations, you have so much intelligence, you don't know which one's what's happening, what isn't.
Well, I don't believe that in 9/11 the Americans knew that was it coming. They may have had the information, but they certainly hadn't processed it.
No, they didn't, because again, you're talking about. I mean, you're talking about places and organisations that are prone to doing stupid things.
Yes. And
so you don't know whether or not they're going to carry through the threat, whether or not there's just so much intelligence, you don't know where to start.
Yes.
And I think that's probably where that conspiracy theory comes from. They knew about it, and it all happened.
It'd be like having this. A normal room, whatever it is, 2 to 3 metres by 2 to 3 metres, full of bits of paper. The bit of paper that tells you that a terrorist attack is going to be on is in that room.
But you don't know which bit of paper it is.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Okay, now, a really interesting one, actually. Janet Rankin. She was the sole member of Congress that voted against America going to war in 1941, on this day in 1941. Interesting lady. She was a pioneer in Congress. Well, I think she was in Congress prior to America going into World War I. And I think she was the only woman. And she voted against America joining World War I. She was a committed and lifelong pacifist.
Yeah.
And she knew if she voted against America going to war, and it might make her political career a bit difficult, and she was pretty much right. And at the next election, she was voted out.
Yeah.
And then she ran for Congress again in 1940. Got into Congress again just in time to have another vote. But yeah, she thought that if she voted against America going to war, that it would be political suicide, and she proved to be right.
Yeah.
But her speech, when it came to the vote, she said, "I am a woman, I cannot go to war," but in all conscience she couldn't send anybody else. So, I mean, good on her. The fact that she stood by her principles.
Yeah, and American Congress could probably serve to actually do that a bit more, really.
Yes. So, good on Jeanette Rankin, and yes, the only person to vote against the US going into World War II. Now, a sad one. On this day in 1980, former Beatle John Lennon was shot to death by Mark Chapman.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, because you and I have a cousin called Mark Chapman. It's not the Mark Chapman, it's a Mark Chapman.
Oh, okay. So that's not the same guy.
No.
Thank goodness. I mean, he's still serving a prison sentence.
He'll never get out.
Yeah.
He's basically in a psychiatric facility.
Because I think he shot him because he was a bit. Yeah, he was a couple of cents short of the dollar.
Yeah, there were kangaroos loose in the top paddock with him, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, birthdays on this day, the 8th of the 12th. Mary, Queen of Scots. Lovely lady.
Well, you're the historical expert. What did she do?
Bit of a nasty cow. Very Catholic. if you didn't happen to be Catholic and her sort of person, you might find yourself a little bit dead.
Oh, so you might find a razor going through about here. Yeah. Nice big axe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actor Lee J. Cobb was born on this day in 1911. Sammy Davis Jr. was born on this day in 1925. If you ever get a chance to read his autobiography, read it, or his biography, read it. Great read.
Yeah.
James MacArthur. Okay. Who remembers Bomber the Jungle Boy from the 1950s?
I didn't, because I wasn't there.
Yeah, yes. But the original Hawaii Five-0, who remembers Bookum Dano? Well, if you remember Bookum Dano, James MacArthur played Dano. So there you go. He was born on this day in 1937. A little known chappie named Jim Morrison.
Yes.
Might have heard of him. Fronted a little known band
Called The Doors.
Yes. He was born on this day in 1943.
I wonder if anyone's made a parody band called The Windows.
Sinead O'Connor was born on this day in 1966. She had a suicide attempt recently. Now, Nicki Minaj. She was born on this day in 1982.
Not quite sort of my sort of taste in music, really.
Can't comment what the lady's like, but I wish she'd stop making music.
Stop making music.
Yes, quote unquote.
Air quotes. Music.
Yes. Sorry, Nikki, but not to my taste.
No.
And anybody that has ears and a sense of hearing.
Yeah, no. Anyway, well, that's us for another day.
Yep.
If you like us, actually hit the actual like button and subscribe. If you don't, share us on social media and annoy us. And use us to annoy all your friends.
Yep, yeah. Flick this on your friends. Okay, see you on the dark side. We got cookies.
Bye.